Hello, 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 everyone. Happy International Women's Day. Yay! I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've made another video. I hope everyone's doing okay. Um, Beautiful day today. You know, it's a full moon and celebrating women across the world. Yes, International Men's Day is November 3rd. But gotta celebrate the women in the world. Beautiful thing. So, I have been busy. I've had symptoms of my ALS that took me off guard, and thankfully the spasticity has calmed down. And I've done a lot of my advocacy, which is absolutely wonderful. It does wipe me out. You know, that's one thing I am dealing with is the fatigue that you deal with ALS. But life is good. So what's been happening? I tomorrow have my last post phase 1 investigational drug trial, the last visit of the 3 months they've watched us since it stopped. And thankfully, I'm still alive, I'm still here. That's the one thing they don't tell you about it. When you do the drug studies, there is a chance that when you get off of the medications, you can suddenly progress. So it's a risk if you're willing to take it. So I'm thankful I'm in another study because of my father's disease, and I'm followed because I'm a family member, and I'm also a C9orf72 genetic case of ALS. I just don't have the other side that's FTD. In the future, it could happen, but neuropsychological testing, I am not demented yet. I do have ADHD. And my counselor told me, I could tell you're not demented. But when you have the genetic thing, you always worry. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, my father had behavioral onset FTD, which is an ugly, ugly disease. Bruce Willis has FTD. Same disease my dad had. My dad was genetic. We did not know at the time. They didn't know about the C9orf72 at that time. So I followed that. Next week, I'm going to have a lumbar puncture to donate some more spinal fluid, which I think is good because we had, you know, I'm here in Texas, Houston, and we had some cold temperatures a couple weeks ago, and I have figured out that I am Goldilocks. If it's too hot, I have problems. If it's too cold, I have problems. I had an extreme case of spasticity. I'm on 80 milligrams of baclofen a day. So that's like the top dose they can give you. They're talking about doing an intrathecal pump, which I don't know. I mean, yes, spasticity sucks, but it's like, okay, so if that pump gets interrupted or something happens, you can suddenly die and end up in the ICU. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Just the struggle of trying to get that comfort. I'm with a very lovely ALS clinic, and I'm very thankful to be in that clinic, and there's excellent, excellent care given at that clinic. It's just with the way in the United States the DEA is and the struggles of it, it's hard. I went to a ALS association talk about palliative care, and the actual social worker that is in my clinic was talking, and I had thought about going to palliative, and they said the palliative won't order it, order anything for pain. I did see a pain management, but because I was in a clinical trial, your life is not your own when you're in a clinical trial. You can be called, you know, it was every week, then every 2 weeks, then it was every week, and can you come tomorrow? So that kind of messed up the order, and when you're at a pain clinic, you have to follow their things and pee in their cups. And it just, communication with the office was terrible. So it was a mess. So I don't see that doctor anymore. I don't know. I mean, I had some changes when I had the night where the spasticity was so bad. It was my whole body was very tight and stiff. If I moved anything, you'd hear a click. I was in the other study getting assessed by a neurologist, and he's like, can you relax? It's like, no, I can't. I am as relaxed as I can be. I'm just stiff. but I had something happen with my eyes, and I don't think you can see it now, but I have intermittent nystagmus-like movement of my eyes. It's a very rare thing. And it's usually like if I look down and I gaze at something, it comes and goes. So I saw a ophthalmologist, medical ophthalmologist, and she's printed out a study from the NIH or PubMed that in long-term ALS patients, I'm 3.5 years in, can have ocular motor dysfunction. So, there's a difference between what the neurologists are saying, and next month I go see a neuro-ophthalmologist. I didn't even know they had those. You learn a whole bunch of things. So we'll do that. I mean, so it's just been, pain. And when I hurt that bad, there's no way I'm gonna make a video. It's just a miserable thing. I mean, and when those mind thoughts come to you when you're suffering like that, I wouldn't put a video out just for everyone's safety. It's hard. That's one thing with ALS is it's, they say, well, ALS is an untreated pain. There's a large amount of pain that goes on with this disease that may be overlooked. I've tried meditation, gentle yoga, biometrics, everything I can think of, and I keep running into a wall. So I'm trying to find the through lines. I don't know. I mean, the organization My ALS has a another wing of it that's a virtual ALS team that you can see. And I don't know with the laws whether they can write prescriptions in each state or how that's going to work. But apparently my clinic, the head of my clinic is not very for Symptocare. So, but if you're interested, look up My ALS and the associated neuro group with them. It's pretty awesome. So, I mean, it's just finding roads. I'm thankful it's mild weather, and that does help me. Like I said, Goldilocks. So, what did I do? So, doesn't that, it's kind of like, bashing your head again. Well, not really bashing your head. Just really frustrated that the symptoms can be so difficult and it can be so painful. And if you use your voice, and I do, I mean, I'm an advocate. I mean, I make this ALS YouTube channel just so if someone's going through it, they don't feel alone. Because it's a rare disease. I'll figure it out. And I hope if you have ALS and you're watching this, you find something, whether a pain doctor or getting a consult for palliative. Palliative is not hospice. It is something when you have serious disease, it can look at the symptoms of your disease and treat the symptoms. So that's the hope. I don't know. I mean, I did last week an advocacy day, and I spoke to my legislatures, which is awesome. We made a trip of it. I took 2 friends with me. I'm kind of paranoid. I rent a car when I do anything like that, just so, opposing people or something won't recognize my house. But it was nice. I mean, it was meaningful work, and I walked a lot, and, of course, what energy you put out, you're going to pay for it. So I had 2 days of being down. Thankfully, it didn't hit the spasticity off too bad, but being on 80 milligrams of baclofen, hopefully that does help. But it was nice. I mean, we went afterwards, we went to barbecue in, South Mauer, or just one of the places. When my oldest daughter was little, I would drive through Elgin, Texas on my way back from Austin, and I would always get a barbecue. It's a red barbecue kind of rub, and she loved it on the chicken. So it was the place I found, and we went and had lovely turkey, delicious. And ate with my friends. Everyone had fun. We stopped in Brenham, Texas, where Bluebell ice cream is made, and we went and had an ice cream cone. And yet 2 more people think that Bluebell ice cream tastes better in Brenham. So it just made a trip of it. It's, you do things for me that advocacy is something that means a lot to me. I've had different experiences in my life that, I want laws changed. And, mental health care for our youth is so important too. Our teachers in Texas, it's a whole mess, and Texas is its own little strange governmental thing. There's one senator that wants to have people be able to have chickens in their backyard and be able to go gardens no matter what their HOA says, no matter what, which that's great. Another one submitted that they want Texas to succeed from the country, which that will never happen. But it's, you go into historic places and, through things, and I was able to do it. That's something that I feel very grateful for, is that I can still do some things. Yes, I have to plan around it, make sure I rest and that I don't overexert, but still being present and still being able to walk is amazing. So there is a lot of hope. I got my AFOs. It's interesting to walk with them because, they're metal, thankfully they're black, they'll go with my clothes. But it seems like it helps you in your, it goes up to straps right underneath your knee, and it helps your leg move. So yes, I walk straighter with that, not quite as bumbling. I wish I would have been able to have someone video me walking when I was so spastic. When I was walking to go to the bathroom, I felt like I was bouncing. It's just a real weird thing when your body's all stiff. But the stiffness and that is a masking thing of your nervous system to help weaken muscles. So I can look at spasticity as a mean pain monster, or I can look at it as a way that my body's trying to keep functioning. So I'm trying to think around it. So that's that. We got a new peach tree planted. My third peach tree. Every time I get a peach tree, I always think of the Presidents of the United States song, Peaches. So I'll be singing that song. Got to fertilize it and water it. Just hope we get some peaches. Yeah, it's just, things are going okay. My little one's selling Girl Scout cookies. I think it was like the Girl Scout cookies, neighborhood group thing, HOA was kind of fussy. The last thing you want to do in anywhere is mess with an HOA. So I kept my cool, was kind, and left that group. I know it's little boring things, but that's just my life. I finally feel like after my sister passed away, I'm finally feeling through the worst of the grief. It's gonna always be something that I'm sad about, but finally starting to feel a little bit better. That's a blessing. It really is. Life is something that no matter what happens, if you get diagnosed with a terrible disease, if you lose someone you love, I lost too many family members last year. But if you do that, you have to make sure you take care of yourself, do the good, nice things to yourself, whether it's getting your nails done, or, eating a nice dinner, spending time with a friend, a pet. I think that I have really been focusing on gratitude and compassion. Whether it be prayers for compassion, chants for compassion, have been something that have really helped me. Because a lot of things that we do, for everyone else, and we're compassionate to other people, we have to be compassionate to ourselves. And finding what compassion is what we need and what that compassion is to you. No matter if you have ALS, you have a chronic disease, or you're just walking and you're just doing anything, be compassionate to yourself and find out what it is to take care of yourself. Self-care is really important. Not pushing yourself, making sure you feel you're well. That's something, when you start losing little abilities, I have a watermelon that I can't cut. You know, it's like trying to open different things. Sometimes that's difficult. You know, it's just frustrating. I know that this is the process of the disease, and I know that I'm very lucky because 3.5 years in, I can still function. You know, it's kind of sad. There was another nurse, Becky, that had a YouTube channel, and she had the barrel kind of form of ALS. She lost the use of her arms, and she just passed away. And it's like I've seen people that I've known that have ALS that have, even in my study, some people progressed, and slowly, I mean, they're still there, but it's just really sad. I mean, you never know when your time is. You just got to enjoy the day. Yeah. And if you are just recently diagnosed with ALS, my heart goes out to you. This is a hard disease, but always remember, it's just something you have. It's not all of you. And when you're in the gray area, between the rock and the hard place, when you don't know what your symptoms are, you haven't been diagnosed, or you get a catastrophic diagnosis like that, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take pause and take care of yourself. Things are scary. I mean, nothing is guaranteed in life. The only thing that's guaranteed is it's going to change. You know, finding information from your doctor and the groups around the disease, you know, like we have the ALS Association, we have Team Gleason, we have I Am ALS, and there's many MND organizations around the world that can help. But finding a group with other people that have it and people that have known this disease, it provides some comfort. It really does. But, you know, it's one thing is, I think when you have to get used to having the disease. If it's, you know, if you have hypothyroidism, that changes your life. If you have a heart disease, that changes your life. If you have an autoimmune disease, that changes your life. When you have a neurodegenerative disease, that definitely changes your life. It's finding the accommodations that you can do. It's finding out what's most important for you. You know, it's like me, you know, this year I'm doing my advocacy. I have 3 more speeches I need to do this year, but I'm going to focus on, you know, the family that I still do have, my children, my sister, my nieces and my nephews, my very good friends, my husband, you know, my granddaughter, you know, my son-in-law, you know, people that really make a difference to me, my stepfather. You know, there's people that make huge differences in my life. And if I have finite time, which we all do, I want to make sure that I make those memories and spend that time, that it will be worth something, to make the memories, you know. I don't know. I mean, you just can't let the disease be all of you. If you hook on any disease you have, if you hook on that and it's like this disease, you fall into the disease more. You have to be able to give yourself the breath, the space, the understanding, the knowledge, but also know that you're not just the disease. You have the disease, but that's not you. You know, I have reddish hair, brown eyes, a silly sense of humor, and I also have ALS. You know, it's not the all of me, and I won't let it be all of me. You know, I have hope. On, I believe it is March 23rd, the MDA is going to have a symposium, and Dr. Appel is going to present the clinical investigational drug trial that I was in. So there were 5 of us that stayed in the study, and it's going into phase 2. A company bought the rights to the medication, and hopefully this study gets larger and larger and larger, and hopefully it gets to be approved medication. Because I'm in, you know, multiple studies. Most of them are biometric. This was the only one that I had that was actually medication. But, you know, because of my genetic status. and there was an option to be listed within that for the registry for that if there are any more drugs. I don't know. I mean, I was very blessed to be able to do this with Dr. Appel's group. It is a lot. It is a sacrifice to do it. Whether there's the clinic visits you have to go weekly, every 2 weeks, all the labs that were drawn, you know, the injections that you give yourself or have someone else give you. You know, it is work, and it's, you know, I do it because, you know, I'm not the only one that's going to have ALS. I want other people that have ALS to have treatment. You know, you have to try something to see if it works. And because I am within a rare disease, I'm a rare, you know, with the 10 to 12% people that have ALS that are genetic. I'm 60, if of those genetic people are 60% have my genetic form of ALS MND. You know, there's several people that they found in Finland, but you know, there's a line, and I like to think, you know, we're all connected. I mean, it's, you know, if I can do something to help other people, whether it's this generation, the next generation, the other generation, I'd like to do it. I mean, you know, blood, sweat, and spinal fluid. You know, I don't know. I'm sure there's some mice and some zebrafish that have my DNA inserted in them. You know, if you gotta have a disease, from the way I look at it, is why not make it useful? So just a bunch of, been kind of a thing. I mean, I've had a couple little things that are fun. Next week is spring break and also time change. I wish they'd get done with that. I mean, but my little one will be out. My husband's going to be taking vacation. We were going to go to San Antonio, but it looks like we'll probably do some at home and maybe go out to the beach. I don't know. Any time in my life when I've had a lot of change happening, I find that going to a beach and the waves really soothe my soul. So, try to do that. You just gotta have fun, you know, it's celebrate life. One of my cousins may be coming in. We might be going to Brenham and do the Bluebell ice cream tour. And it's just kind of one of those things you have to think about. It's like, how much can you actually do? What accommodations can you have? You know, I'm going to be going up to North Dakota in April. I hope it's warm, otherwise I'm going to be a stiff ant up there. You know, my nephew is going to get his first communion, so I will go up there, and I'm his godmother, so I will do that. You know, I have two nieces and a nephew graduating this year. Isn't that exciting? You know, I have to drive. Hopefully next week I can drive up and see my niece that's in a different part of Texas. I miss her. She's the oldest daughter of my sister that passed away. You know, it's like, you know, my nieces and my brother-in-law are holding on. My little one and my oldest one are holding on. You know, it's just, you have some holes. People die. You know, you lose function. You know, life changes. Lose a relationship, a pet. You have a hole. The good thing about that is, yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's not the good thing about that. One of the wonderful things is nothing stays the same. Things change. Life will grow around that hole. It'll never fill it, but it grows around. You know, it's kind of like one of those things, you know, you have an event or something like that, someone's coming in town, you think, oh, I should tell this person. Oops, they're not there anymore. You know, it's hard. So we're gonna have Easter. Went and got a bunch of eggs. So I've got to get the candy and the little toys and fill that. So I'm going to spend Easter with my daughters, and we'll go up to a different city and go do that. But I'm going to drop them off some, you know, do an art project with my nieces, and leave some eggs for my brother-in-law. You know, yeah, I can't even imagine that, what he's going through. But have another little niece that's in kindergarten, and she's got a birthday, so got her things, got to wrap that. You know, just a lot of things. You know, it's kind of like I have a younger daughter that's going to be going into middle school, and we're talking about all those kind of things, and she chose her electives. You know, she's a little artist, so you know, she's going to go into art full year. You know, that's one thing that when I got diagnosed, and that's something that she enjoys, and I've been encouraging her skill of art. You know, art's like riding a bicycle. You can ride a bicycle real good, but it's a skill, and she uses that when she's stressed. She does, you know, amazing. I mean, it's a trait that runs in the family, so they have lots of little artists. I used to do a lot, but you know, it's going to be more abstract now. I don't know, I've got to find something myself to work on my self-care plan, you know, ways to be gentle going through, ways I can actually do things that I want, make sure that I'm making the priorities that are actually important. You know, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, and sometimes that's a good thing, you know. It's so I'm doing okay. I mean, I guess you see my husband's collection out here. This side of the room is undergoing some changes. My house is under construction in some areas. We're doing a kitchen thing, and whew, I'll be glad when that's all done. Not that I can do too much about it. It's one of the frustrations. You're stuck. You can't really do a lot. You have no energy. The fatigue and exhaustion is real. And you look around and you see everything that needs to be done. It's like, oh. So you find little ways to do things. You find little ways you can. I'm just glad. I'm just glad to have some positivity. I'm just glad to have a beautiful day. You know, it started a little bit rough, but today's been beautiful. And celebrating women. Yay! Yeah. It's a nice thing to think about. I mean, there's women across the world that help create, lift people up. You know, it's a beautiful thing to celebrate. So, no matter what, make sure you take care of yourself. Find something, you know, like I always say, find the beauty in the day. You know, there's something that's beautiful every day. Train yourself to look for the beauty. It's too easy to look at the cracks and things that are hard. And if you start looking at cracks, all you're going to see is more cracks. If you look at beauty, hopefully you see more beauty. All right, guys, take care, and thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, you know, if you would like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye. Or evening, or whenever this video finds you. All right.